Bilal Abbas Khan, it's a pleasure to speak to you here on the BBC. How are you?
Thank you so much. I'm good, and thank you so much for having me, Haroon.
You know, Bilal, I've been following your work for the last few years. I started watching you in O Rungreza, then last year's Cheekh, and then most recently Pyar Ke Sadqay as well. And I have to say that I'm constantly surprised by the kinds of roles that you take on. Is that a conscious effort to constantly reinvent yourself with every project?
Uh, s- yeah, somehow it is a conscious effort. Uh, whenever I have to sign a project, I always make sure that the present character that I'm about to do is different from my previous one. And when I did Cheekh, after that, it was my conscious effort on my part that I was actually looking for light-hearted scripts and a character which is completely opposite from what I did in Cheekh. So I found Pyar Ke Sadqay. So what you are asking, that is it a conscious effort? So somehow, yes, it has been a conscious effort on my part that I personally make sure that every character should be different or should be out of my comfort zone. It should be slightly challenging. So yeah, it has been like that.
How does Ek Jhooti Love Story fit into that aim that you have to constantly try and do different characters? How does this role, how does this character add another chapter to your book almost?
Well, talking about Ek Jhooti specifically, the character which I did in Ek Jhooti, it's not something which is very demanding or something which is out of my comfort zone. It's a very simple, very realistic character and a character which I can relate to. It's a simple character of a Karachi boy, and I'm from Karachi, and I have that trait of being a Karachiite. जो कि एक typical Karachiite के अंदर होता है, I have that thing in myself. So it's not that demanding. It's not something which was out of my comfort zone. And honestly, the reason I signed for Ek Jhooti Love Story was not just because the character was so uh, appealing or it was something out of my comfort zone. It was more about story. I got an opportunity to work with Mehreen Jabbar. I always wanted to work with her, and it was my first play to work that I was working with her. And script was written by Umaira Ahmed. So story is so good that I couldn't say no to it. Although my character, it's not something which I did it in Cheekh or Pyar Ke Sadqay, something offbeat, something out of comfort zone, something very demanding, challenging. It wasn't like that. But story itself is so appealing, and it has a universal appeal in it. So I think that was the main quality which attracted me towards it.
You know, I have to ask you that with Ek Jhooti Love Story, you're working with an international platform like Z5. You've said previously that actually all it does is it allows you to reach more people,
Yeah.
it allows you to be exposed to more people. But you're starring in not one of their dramas, but two of their shows. That puts you in the most prime position to be seen by the maximum number of people internationally. Is that nerve wracking at any point? Does that make you nervous, or does that excite you, the fact that actually you will be exposed to so many more people who might not have seen any of your work before?
Uh, well, it's actually a mixed feeling, honestly. I am nervous and I'm extremely excited as well because I am pretty much hopeful for both the projects which I've done, be it Ek Jhooti Love Story or Abdullapur Ka Devdas. I think both projects will obviously reach out to a wider audience through Z5, but it will touch audiences' hearts as well. So it's just a mixed feeling, and I don't expect a lot from my project. मैं सिर्फ अपना काम करता हूँ as an actor, and then I rest, leave it to Allah कि बस जो होगा देखा जाएगा. I don't think a lot. So same thing. I'm just applying it over here as well.
The freedom that working with a streaming service provides you with is the fact that there's no limitations in terms of the form, the format, the length. For example, typically a Pakistani drama is between 25 to 30 episodes. This one we
Yeah.
know is 18 episodes. Typically they have to be a certain length of time. How liberating was it for you as an actor to work in something that didn't have all those constraints attached?
Obviously, it was different, and I think everything was completely different. Be it stories, screenplay, execution, dialogues, the way characters are written. It's completely different from our dramas because it's designed for web portal, so it's completely different. And for me, I think more as an actor, it's just a different platform. It's just a different character. It's just an opportunity for me to explore my craft and to do something else and to work with different people and to learn something from them. So it's more of that for me.
You know, I have to ask you as well. You've done such successful dramas, like I mentioned. There's Bala, there's O Rungreza, there's Cheekh, and most recently Pyar Ke Sadqay. But while you were making those dramas, did you have this feeling that I want to do more? I want to work on a platform or on a format that isn't tied down. Because we constantly hear about how Pakistani TV dramas specifically have to have certain elements for them to be successful with the audience. There has to be a certain emotional narrative that quite often the female character is much stronger than the male characters on TV as well. Did you have this desire to do something more?
Yeah, as an actor, you always have this hunger and desire to do more work, to do better work. So yeah, I do have this desire in myself that I really want to push boundaries and do something which is, out of my comfort zone and which is challenging for me. And you're right, because the kind of dramas we do in Pakistan, I'm not saying all dramas, but majority of them are women centric. So for a change, I did a series which is like apart from Ek Jhooti Love Story, I did one more, Abdullah Purka Devdas, and that is a title character in the male-centric story, and a character with a story which is, shedding a light towards the story of this guy, okay, what he's been through. So it was interesting and it was different for a change.
You know, what also is interesting is that although I mentioned that Pakistani dramas are normally seen to be women centric, or the women have better characters, in your dramas you have equal roles to your female colleagues, whether that's with Yumna in Pyar Ke Sadqay, or with Sabah in Cheek, or with Sajal in O Rungreza, or with Ushna in Bala. You have an equal level of screen presence as them. How difficult has it been to demand that from writers? How difficult has it been to find those scripts? How often do those scripts come about that give you that much scope?
Obviously, it has been difficult, and I'm someone who has always been extremely picky. I do very limited projects, and I do one project at one time. And मैं जब भी कोई project करता हूँ, I always make sure that it should be equal. It should be like अगर heroine का character is to this extent, so my character should also be, it should be same. It should be like uh, what majority of our dramas try to portray. So this has been my conscious effort on my part, that I'm personally more inclined towards projects, uh, which has something to do, something to offer for me as well as an actor.
And actually, when you say no to so many projects, when you're saying no to all the projects that have very typical characters, or very, male characters that don't really have much to do, does that make you problematic? Are there producers who are like, oh, Bilal ke paas nahi jana?
Does, yeah. It does, it does, it does. मैं ये मेरे लिए मशहूर है that बहुत नखरे हैं इसके. But you can't do anything. Uh, I, when I read the script, if I like it, if it's exciting me, then I do it, and if it doesn't excite me, I don't do it. So it has been very simple for me. I've always been extremely picky, the kind of character that I do. So, and I don't convince producers. I just try to make them explain that if they can, make it equal, and just script को आप उस point पे लेके आ जाओ कि मैं खुद भी convince हूँ करने के लिए. अगर वो हो जाए, then I'm happy to be the part of the project.
Where does that confidence come from, Bilal? Because you're still very young, you're still very new into the industry. Quite often, when somebody is so new into a field like acting, you want to please everybody. You don't want to be problematic. You don't want to be seen as somebody who's difficult. Where does this confidence come from?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think I've always have this self-belief in myself. I think there's a difference between having being overconfident and having a self-belief. And I've always had this belief in myself. When I started working 5-6 years back, I had this belief that I will be able to make it to a decent point where I can be proud on myself. And till date, I have this belief that uh, doesn't matter if I'm saying no to projects which are not up to the mark, or are not up to the standard which I want to set, which I want to perform on. So I just say no to it without even thinking a lot, and regardless what people will talk about it, because I have this belief that uh, you know good scripts will come my way, and good characters will inshallah come my way, and I will have this potential to do good characters. So ये self belief, I think, ये बहुत जरूरी होता है. So and ये वो self belief ही है जो कि मुझसे ये सारे decisions मैं जिनकी वजह से ले लेता हूँ.
You know, I've mentioned your previous dramas quite a few times now, and the reason I've done that is because I genuinely am impressed by your performances.
Thank you so much.
I think you're a very good actor. You have been called one of the most promising actors of this generation of stars. How does that make you feel? Does that add pressure on you to constantly keep up that momentum, to constantly keep up that level of performance?
Uh, well, it does to an extent, but it's obviously exciting as well. But I don't take a lot of pressure because I started doing theater 6 or 7 years back, and I used to do theaters because I've always enjoyed acting. And for me, it wasn't. I never became an actor. I never became an actor to be famous. So मुझे अगर आज right platform, right opportunities नहीं भी मिल रही होती, तो मैं theater continue कर रहा होता. So I don't take a lot of pressure. For me, it's just my job, and I take my job very seriously. And regardless, I'm famous or I'm not, I know that जो भी मैं character करूँगा, it will be. Uh, I will give my 100% to it. So then it makes my job very easy with this mindset.
You know, Bilal, what have you learned from your experience of Ek Jhooti Love Story and Abdullapur Ka Devdas that you hope local Pakistani channels will implement as well in their style of making dramas? Because, of course, look, this isn't going to happen every day. You're not going to do a drama with Z5 every day. But what would you like to take to a local TV channel and say, look, they've made our drama like this. This really worked well. It was efficient. It was professional. We should do this as well.
I think they're very minor details, minor technicalities, which we need to focus on, and our local producers need to focus on, be it sound, be it camera work, be it DOP's work, and there are very minor things which जो इस project में करते हुए यहाँ पे बहुत attention दी गई है. So I'm hoping that, and I think that ये चीजों को अगर हम apply करें in our local productions, that can create a huge impact.
I'll give you an example. When I was watching Pyar Ke Sadqay, the only thing in the whole drama that bugged me was that your glasses have no frames in them.
I knew it, man. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I said it before you said it.
So how do we, like, why does that happen? Why is there no thought that actually this is going to be a little bit off-putting for the audience? And are those the kind of things you mean, that little attention to detail?
Exactly. That's what I meant. They're like minor details. And we tend to think that people might not notice it. People will not going to notice it. Ye nikal jayega. And, but we don't understand that with current day and age, the kind of people, the kind of viewers we have, they're very smart. You can't fool them easily. They can just know it. Ki, oh, ye yahan pe cheat kiya, ye yahan pe ye kiya. So I think we need to focus on minor details most importantly, and then content and these sort of things.
Absolutely. And finally then, what do you hope the audiences will take away from Ek Jhooti Love Story? I'm sure we'll talk again ahead of Abdullapur Ka Devdas, but what do you want people to take away from this drama in particular?
I think the kind of message the story is trying to tell in the end, the kind of story we're trying to tell to the audience, it's very pure, it's very simple, it's very realistic, and I'm pretty much hopeful that it will obviously it will reach out to a wider audience through Z5, but it will touch audience's heart as well. And it's fun, it's lighthearted, it's a mixture of romance and sadness. It's a story of two families, their interaction, and it has dark comedy element as well. So it's a complete package in a way. Writing is really good, direction is really good. We have focused on we have considered every small detail into consideration, and performances are really good. So I think I am pretty much hopeful that this will come out as a very good project.
Fantastic. Bilal, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. All the very best with Ek Jhooti Love Story. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
If you enjoyed this, like and subscribe, and click the bell icon to keep up to date. For more great audio and video from the BBC, listen on Sounds, watch on iPlayer.